Hello everyone, this is the Codemaster here, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to build a Bollinger wing coaster in Nolimits 2. Because as you guys probably already know, the Wingrider update was released, long anticipated, and I'm going to show you basically how to make a Wingrider in the style that B&M does. I recommend you do watch my last few tutorials I've done before watching this one, as they might come in handy because I may reference them. Now, what I want to do is you just want to go ahead and make your generic station as you usually would. Now you want to make the station quite long because the Wingrider trains themselves are quite long. Do the usual thing I do with station, or you would do with stations. 4 nodes, set the last 2 to strict. Got it. And then just raise it up off the ground a little bit. Like that. Actually, Wingriders can be fairly close. Then all you have to do, again, continue with the station, just put down the station block as you usually would. Set it to station. Set it to station. There we go. And finally change the style to the all-new twisted wing coaster. There you go. This is our station. Now, a 20 meter long, or about 16 meter long station will hold about a train of 6. I want to make it a train of 7, so I'm just going to extend it a bit. It's about 18. That should fit it. There we go. Okay, now, if you're wanting to do a launched Wingrider, you just got to do what you'd normally do with a launch. But if you're going for a lift hill, which is what I'm going to teach you guys how to do, you want to have quite a large pull into the lift, about that large, because on Wingriders they tend to have a lot of basically space that they can pull up. If you look at real pictures of Wingriders while building yours, it helps a little bit. I recommend pictures of the rides Swarm, X-Flight, or Gatekeeper, and possibly Thunderbird. Now, I'm going to go ahead and continue with the lift hill. Most Wingriders have a lift hill of about 45 degrees, so we're going to go ahead and build a lift hill 45 degrees, like that. Now, as I've shown in my past tutorials, I've shown you how to basically do them always at 45 degrees for 22.5 or 30 degrees for B&M, which is about this. But this is a Wingrider, so their lift hills tend to be a little bit steeper. Maybe not that steep, about that steep. So you don't want a lift hill that's too steep or too shallow, because that would take away from the realism of the ride. So now we have a station, a lift, and now this depends on what kind of drop you want to do next. If you're doing a wing over drop, where they basically turn upside down and then go down like that, what you're going to do is you're going to put a straight section in front of it like this. If you're doing a drop like Wild Eagle or Gardaland's Raptor, you're not going to want to do this. You just want to build a drop going down like that. Make sure, if you're doing that, make sure the pull out is larger than the pull in to the drop. Now, the length of this depends on the length of your train. You want to make it so that this section here is about half the length of your train. And you can test this by basically what I do is I just take my hand, put it up to screen, and then just measure it, the distance between this and this here with my hand. Yeah. Okay, so you can add the lift segment now. So this. There you go. Now, Wingrider lifts are about the normal speed of a Wingrider. It's about 4 to 5 miles an hour. See, I've got it set to 4.9, which is a stock with no limits. But if you're doing a larger Wingrider, I would recommend a slightly faster lift, maybe 8 or 9 miles an hour. Probably not actually that fast, but around that speed would be ideal. Now I'm going to show you how to do a wing over drop. This is probably the most difficult part of this Wingrider, because wing over drops seem to be the most difficult. So what you want to do is you kind of want to make a straight section up here, except for make it so it has a really elongated part here. And then what you want to do is you want to add a roll node right at the end of your lift, double click on it and set it to strict. And what this will do is it'll stop it from rolling the other way when we roll this way. You want to put that right at the end of your lift. And the next thing you need to do is you need to go to coaster properties, mode, and set the heart line to the current coaster style, because I forgot to do that, and that's an extremely important thing. Oh yeah, one thing about this straight section, it needs to be angled down a little, because the roll actually will kind of go up a bit, and it could cause a stall if it does that. Anyway, now this comes the fun bit. You get to go do the drop. All you have to do is basically build a half loop. That. And you want to make sure that the top part of the loop is actually tighter than the bottom half, as you can see here. And now we're going to go ahead and build the actual twist part. So at the bottom of the drop, just put a few roll nodes, about 45 degrees, and at 0. And then about 90 degrees, put another one. Make sure that it doesn't go around the other side. If it goes around to the other side, all you have to do is set it to 0, check no lateral force. And if it's still facing one way, just press negative 45 degrees 4 times, and that will fix it. So if yours is like this, you just press that 4 times, and then it's fine. Okay, and then you want to do another one about this far up on it, so just after where it starts to go down, and it will probably do it like this. So again, just set it to like that, 180 degrees. And now you'll notice that we've got a fairly nice looking wing over drop, but there is an issue with this wing over drop. As you can see here, if we go into the track view and ride it, it kind of wiggles back and forth there a little bit. Now, I've shown how to do element shaping, but I've never shown how to counteract this wiggle, and it's actually quite easy to counteract. Now, let's say I want my roll to continue going the way it is. All I have to do is basically remove or add an extra negative 10 degrees in that direction. So basically, it kind of like it goes like 179 degrees here, and then it completes a 180 degree roll. And if if you want it to go the other way, just take it away from the other direction. Just 10 degrees though, that's all you need to do. And now what you'll see is when we ride this, there is no wiggle, and it's nice and smooth. Now we're going to go ahead and depump the strop. In the meantime, I'm going to explain basically why we had to do all this stuff. Oh, never mind, that was quite quick, I don't need to. Anyway, so now we've got a wing over drop done. What about we go ahead and do a kind of 0G roll? Yeah, like the Wingrider's kind of 0G roll is actually fairly different to their normal 0G rolls that they do. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, because we can't exactly just go up into a 0G roll because it will collide with this track here, we need to rotate the drop. So select every roll node select every node or track node for about 90 degrees, so about here, just like that, and then go to the top view. And then all you have to go is to track and rotate, and put your cursor on the last node, and then click and then drag like this. You can rotate the track however you like. I'd recommend rotating it about maybe 10 or 20 degrees, about that much. And now you can see it's a bit strange because it kind of curves off to the right. You should probably depump after doing this because it could cause a few pumps in the track. And then just make sure you set everything to no lateral g-force. Not this one here though, you want to keep that one how it is. But yeah, okay, so now we've done that, we're going to go ahead and basically work on the 0G roll. Now, let's say it's kind of difficult to build a 0G roll from kind of a perspective because you see you can't really get a side-on view of it properly. So we're going to use our friend the rotate tool again. So we're going to select the entire track this time. Go to rotate, and we're going to put it on the same point we did before, just at the drop. And then we're going to rotate it until this is pretty much flush with the surrounding terrain, or the actual grid, I meant. Anyway, so now we can see our lift is kind of at an angle, but where we're going to build our 0G roll is not. Well, yeah, it's perfectly aligned. So now, here's how you build a Wingrider 0G roll. It's not actually that hard. It's very similar to building a normal 0G roll. So all you have to do is build an airtime hill, and the way you can do this is go to up here where it says spline or anything, and you can select G-force comb. Now you want to build a slope like this, and then basically just a hill going over like that. And yeah, just like that. we'll continue on with this bit in a second. Now, the key to making a 0G roll is making sure there is no G-force at all. You can see here, I've got a bit of it where it's going down, so we just need to kind of adjust this until there's pretty much no force acting upon it. Just like shown. There, you just need to move the nodes until there's pretty much nothing there, because that's what a 0G roll is, a lack of gravity. Now, if you're having this situation where you need to place a node here, but it keeps on connecting to this one, all you have to do is just place a few tiny nodes here, and then move them over, as shown. This way you can kind of get around that pesky station, like that. So now, if you've created an airtime hill, which is the first step into making this 0G roll, you want to depump the whole part, entering and exiting it. Shouldn't take too long. Now, the main difference between Wingrider 0G rolls and their normal 0G rolls is that on Wingriders, the 0G rolls tend to start and end earlier and later. So what you want to do is you want to place a roll node at the top and set it to 180 degrees. And then about the 45-degree mark on the entrance, you want to put a roll node, and the exit, same. And then about, I'd say, maybe 45 degrees up from the top point here, you want to put 45 degrees, and then on the same side you want to do the opposite. Now if we go into perspective view, you can see you've got this 0G roll. Now it will have a few laterals here, but that's just how the Wingriders are shaped. It's rather strange. When you're riding them, it feels fine. I've ridden one in real life, and I confirm this. But we do have a little bit of this kind of counter roll here, you can see. Kind of rolls a little bit too much this way. So we're going to do what we did on the drop. We're going to add a roll node here. Add a roll node here. And then we're going to add, or change this one to maybe -10 like that. And the same, this one here. Now we've got a nice smooth transition. Let's go and check that out. There we go. Glass smooth. A few laterals here and there, but that's actually what Wingriders have. They have a few laterals. So yeah, nice smooth elements. Now the thing is, this is what, if you can notice already, on Wingriders the transitions are very, very drawn out. They're not really snappy like you can see on a B&M. If I remember, I will put a B&M versus a Wingrider picture here, and a B&M sit-down 0G roll here. And you'll see how the sit-down one is so tight, and this one is really, really drawn out. Okay, so the next element we're going to do, let's say, well, what about we just do an overbank? That's easy, because there isn't such thing as a Wingrider overbank, it's just an overbank. There are a few other elements that I need to go over, such as elements like the just flat roll that they do at the end of their rides, and also the kind of short roll that's not exactly 0G, it's a positive G roll. Okay, so if you remember from the first tutorial when we built an overbank, same thing, just go ahead, just click nodes in the direction that you want to build your overbank, just a curve, and then you want to go to perspective view, or just the right view, and then just raise them up. It's not that hard. Just like this. Now, I thought something you've got to keep in mind is that Wingriders aren't extremely fast-paced, so you don't want a Wingrider that's basically like bolting through this turn at extremely high speed, because the trains are extremely heavy and they couldn't really handle speeds like that and like stay like on like tight transitions like that and pretty much stay safe because of the way they're built. Yeah, so now we're going to depump this, and then we'll get onto the next element, which will be a positive G roll. Let's go ahead and add some roll nodes. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. If you get this situation, just roll it 180 degrees and then no lateral force it again. There we go. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do this positive G roll. Now, a positive G roll is pretty much like, it's pretty much a corkscrew. but it's much more drawn out like that. It's like you take a corkscrew and you make it really, really kind of drawn out. So let's go ahead and simply do that. All you want to do is from a top view, make sure the coaster is kind of rotated to this angle as well. Go to the side of it, and then yeah, just make sure you're kind of flat like this. And now what you want to do is want to build kind of like a really small hill, except for you don't want it to be an airtime hill. You want it to have a bit of force in it, like that. Let's just check and see if I actually got the force. Yeah, you should have a few little bits of force here and there. The reason for this is because you won't be feeling weightless through this roll, or you shouldn't be. And then just go ahead and depump that. There we go. Now to turn this into from a what would seem like an ejector airtime hill or an ejector 0G roll into an actual roll, we're going to move the nodes over a little bit to the right, to the left or right, depending on the way you want the element to go. So basically it's going to be kind of like Gatekeeper's massive roll that it does, if you're wondering exactly what we're trying to achieve here. This is going to go over like that. And maybe mine's a bit off center. I'll go ahead and continue. It goes over like that, that. So basically you want to make a really drawn out corkscrew kind of shape. Whoa, I've really screwed this up. Hold on, there we go. Just need to make sure it's symmetrical. It's kind of hard to do this from a top view, but just keep on switching to perspective and do something kind of like this. And I'll go ahead and depump that. And yeah, you probably guessed the next step. We're going to add some roll nodes to make sure that this doesn't kill you. So just go ahead and do that. Just add some no lateral G nodes along this whole thing. If it does this again, just do the 180-degree trick. And then, yeah, you should get a roll like this. If you don't get a roll like this and it kind of does something weird, like, let me just demonstrate this, all you have to do is just add a roll node at the top, roll it to 180 degrees. That should be good. So yeah, if you this is the thing that you kind of want to avoid. I just spotted this, where it kind of goes straight from a curved element and then into another one. You kind of want it to be a constant kind of curving shape. So I'm gonna just, you don't need to do this. I'm just gonna do this because I need to. Like that, nice. So it's kind of a nice constant curve instead of going curve, straight curve. It just helps with the flow of the ride and makes it just feel a bit more natural. There we go. Just fixing some roll nodes. Okay, so now we've done that, I think we should end off this video by showing you how to do basically a heartline roll. Now, first thing we do is save, because I seem to forget to do that, and I'm just reminding you to save before your beautiful Wingrider that you've made breaks down. Now we're just going to go ahead and do a turn like this. Doesn't matter how. I'm going to make mine go over the station because it's fancy like that. And you want to basically raise this up quite a little bit. I'd say, depending on how high you want the roll to be, about that high I'm going to do mine. And go ahead and depump it. Again. Okay, now we're going to basically prevent all the rolling from this. Again. Oh wow, that's quite tight. Yeah, if you make a curve and you realise it's getting into the orange or reds on a Wingrider, you want to refine that curve, because Wingriders never ever tend to get that many G-force at all, actually. The maximum you'd probably expect from a Wingrider is about 4 Gs. Anything more could possibly cause damage to the trains and track. So that's why B&N doesn't really go past that. Now for the roll, they're really drawn out, so you want to make a really long straight section, kind of like this. And you want to set the node before it to be strict, just like this. There we go. So now it kind of goes up, And now we're going to roll it at a constant speed. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a just completely stationary node like this. And then about halfway along the roll, we're going to add 180 degrees. And if it does this, you want to go to one side of it and add a 90 degree. And then maybe on the other side do it as well for consistency. Just like that. Yeah. That is basically how B&M does their rolls. If you kind of get this weird thing where it rolls the other way before it, just add a no lateral force. And then just kind of roll this one the same way a little bit to counteract it, so it's nice and smooth. Now you won't need to depump this because it's just simply a straight section. Yeah, so now we're just going to finalise Wingrider by adding a brake run. And then we should be good. And we'll see how this Wingrider that I've shown you how to build, or the elements I've shown you how to build, can help you build your own custom Wingrider for Nolimits too. Hope this tutorial wasn't a little confusing. I haven't done one of these for a while. And if you didn't get some of the references or the things I was referencing from other tutorials, I did recommend at the beginning of the video that you do watch the other tutorials first. Yeah, this is just doing a generic brake run stuff. Mine looks a bit strange right now because I don't know, why is it? Oh wow, yeah, that's screwed up. Just readjust those nodes. Make the last node strict and then just do how you'd normally do a brake run. So yeah, this pretty much concludes this tutorial. I will freeze it and then ride it so you guys can see basically how this Wingrider would look. Just going to add some brakes first, so our ride doesn't careen into the station and smack some poor person who's just trying to board the ride. Anyway, add those new lateral Gs, set that strict node, add that final brakes, and then you're done. Yeah, let's go ahead and freeze this and just ride it then. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you learnt something, make sure to like this video. If you didn't, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next tutorial. If you have a recommendation for sorry for cutting out my outro. Either way, if you have a recommendation for another tutorial, feel free to ask. Don't be shy. I'm a nice person, I don't bite, because I'm not a shark. Or am I? Am I a shark? Oh good, never mind, I'm not a shark. But anyway, I don't bite, because I'm not a shark, so you can ask whatever you like. Also, I do have a Skype. I will probably put my Skype in the description, so if you really need to talk to me, and it's urgent, well, you can go ahead and ask. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking so you guys can enjoy the Wingrider we have made. Or I've made, rather. Well, I didn't say... Well, whatever, just enjoy what I've shown you how to make. Skip past the lift. You can see these Wingrider trains are incredibly nice. Well, incredibly sexy. And they did a great job on making these. Anyway, here we go. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. That was a bit fast.